back to Smashing Heads Podcast. This is episode 37. My name is Zach, and as always, I don't know what that was. As always, I'm joined by my wife Hannah.
Hey.
And my best friend Jake.
How's everybody doing tonight?
It's not tonight.
It is not
No,
night.
it's 4:59 in the afternoon, and it's 80 degrees and sunny.
Yeah, so we
Good
were
old
going
Tennessee weather.
to record last night, but there was possibilities of tornadoes and really
we
bad
were on a
thunderstorms.
tornado watch.
And it's like 70-mile-per-hour winds, and so we were afraid the power was going to go out. We did watch it together last night, but the power on the next street over did go out. Some tree limbs fell and blew some transformers, but we were all right.
And honestly, you actually lost a couple of limbs. Hannah's glasses broke, but I am totally fine.
Your glasses broke?
Did they really?
No.
Oh man, that'd have been quite the call.
No,
right there.
but I mean, even though the transformer across the yard did blow, it took out all the power on their street. But we had all the lights on in our living room, and they were like dimming in and out like crazy. And the sound of the transformer was super scary.
I was taking the dogs out. I saw it happen.
It sounded like something you would hear in like a horror movie.
It's big, bright flashes. Like,
I tell you though,
it freaked me out.
Nothing quite sets the mood than some dimmed lights. Am I right?
well, I mean, we were about to watch the challenge, so I don't know what mood we needed to get in.
Sensual.
Nice.
No.
Speaking of sensual,
Okay.
we were just talking before we started recording, and
Typically we do, yeah.
I told you that I could type your name in a Google machine, and
A Google machine?
I could type in Zach. Do you want to know your last name?
No.
They know mine.
I mean, it's on my Twitter.
Yeah,
so.
but you like having your information out in the internet.
I could type in your name and get your height and weight. And you said, where is that
That's not what I
database
said.
at? What'd you say?
First of all, we were talking about government like agencies online that had like registries for people's like public information, and you're like, I can type that in, and I said, what government agency is that? And then you said
lovecalculator.com,
And-
which you were unfamiliar with.
yeah, I don't know what that is.
Well, you guys, right?
If it's a government agency website,
This is not a government agency.
It would be .org as in organization. .com means it's commercial.
It would be .gov.
Yeah, or .gov.
So let me just explain the love calculator real quick for anybody that is unaware. All right, this was a thing that you used, at least in my heyday.
I'm older than you by like a year and a
Yeah.
half. I would have been around all of this.
Maybe you were out by this point, right?
Right.
You were homeschooled for a little bit.
What year was it?
For middle school.
It was like, from like, this is mid-2000s.
I was in high school then.
Mid-2000s, all right? And so what it is it's just a simple layout, all right?
MySpace days.
Here's what the page says. Welcome to this great invention of Dr. Love. We all know that a name can tell a lot about a person. Names are not randomly chosen. They all have a meaning. Dr. Love knew this, so he made another great invention just for the lonely you. Sometimes you'd like to know if a relationship with someone could work out. Therefore, Dr. Love himself designed this great machine for you. With the Love Calculator, you can calculate the probability of successful relationships between two people. Mm-hmm. The Love Calculator is an effective way to get an impression of what the chances are on a relationship between two people.
Okay.
Now, and what comes after that is there are two blanks here. There's the name of person one and the name of person two.
Yeah.
So what I have done, just to
So before we get too much further, this literally has nothing to do with height or weight.
no,
Okay.
Jake, did you put your name and a girl's name in there?
I did not.
No, but he's going to after he does our names.
Yeah.
I have done your name,
Yeah.
Zach, and you and your maiden name
Yeah.
because that's how you would do it, right?
Hannah?
Yeah. That's not your maiden name.
Hannah, this, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
What's it say?
you guys have a 23% chance of... Here's what it says. Dr.
Okay.
Love thinks a relationship might work out between Zach and Hannah, but the chance is very small. A successful relationship is possible, but you both have to work on it.
Okay. Now,
Isn't that every marriage?
before you get too far, do our names again.
Okay.
And see if it comes up different.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's no, but here's what will make it come up different. If I just put in Zach and Hannah, like just first name,
Isn't that what you're supposed to do? I thought it was just first names.
well, I did. Oh God, that's a 0% chance.
That's because
Yeah.
there's no last names. These aren't real
Oh
people.
man, so let's do mine now, okay?
Yours and Zach's?
Yeah, do mine and yours. Do mine and yours.
All right. Hey, 57% are here.
Me and you?
No.
No, do you and Zach.
No.
Right now.
The girl that Wes is convinced I need to just...
Forget.
Yeah.
Off the face of the earth.
So
Wait,
anyway...
which one?
Yeah, okay. Anyway...
Zach, are you looking it up?
Yeah.
If you guys are listening and you've got someone you want to know if you're compatible with...
By the way, this is the
Okay.
most bare bones website.
Just
At least
give it
the
a-
mobile version I'm looking at.
Give it a chance.
Well, I mean, you said Zach and I have a 23% and a relationship we have to work at.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense because we kind of hate each other's guts. We just co-live, exist together in the same house.
Well, Dr. Love would agree. Dr. Love would agree. Who are you typing in there?
Me and you have a 61%.
That's better than any chance we've seen so far.
Yeah.
Well, so the other thing that I needed to before we get deep into challenge talk here, we had played our, of course, there's a lot of car stuff going on today, but we wanted to get my brother's takes last week.
Me and the girl that you has 45%.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Not as good as having me plugged in there. All right, well, this is a fun game, but here's the thing is that Jagger, right?
Hannah and her 18%.
Well,
That's why we're not friends.
All right, Jagger, your brother.
Jagger, you I think it was at this point we were talking about his crush on Amanda, right? And you had kind of called him out for being a skinny, scrawny little kid.
I don't think I quite said that, but I might have. I said I kind of know what you're saying. You go ahead.
Well, so they listened to the episode a couple of nights ago, okay? And he texted me and he said this: I just listened to the podcast with me and Dawson on it. You better tell Zach to watch his back. You tell him this skinny kid will run him over with the pain train.
Pain train.
You know,
Oh.
if that's what it takes, we'll do it.
So,
We need to set up a hall brawl.
well, he's coming at you with the pain train.
That's what he can call it.
So, I feel like it's very reminiscent of CT when he gives him the choo-choo. Remember that?
First of all,
Yeah.
if your brother's not CT,
But he's got the spirit.
He does. But you know what? Give him about 5 or 6 years once he's out of high school and gets into college and he kind of is past the puberty phase where he can gain a little bit of weight. He can start going to the gym with you and get real big like CT.
That's right.
And then he'll have all the ladies swooning.
He's already doing well at that.
I know. He's super cute.
Good-looking guy. We Engle men, we're not bad-looking guys, you know?
He's cuter than you.
Maybe so. But
let's put his name in with her.
watch it be 97% or something.
Yeah, we'll do that real quick. Let me see.
Oh, my gosh.
We're doing this for Jagger so he knows. He needs...
He does think she's really attractive.
He needs, like, closure.
Yeah.
57%.
That
That's
was
pretty
mine.
good.
What is Dawson's?
I think. Well, it's probably it just uses your last names.
I don't think so. Some sort of algorithm here.
Yeah, it's 76.
Hey, all right.
Wow.
Dawson's the one with the shot here.
All right.
He's
Yeah,
still
let's-
a little too young for her.
All right, let's get it going into the challenge. If you are new here, we don't typically do love calculators at the top of the show, but
Special week, though.
Yeah.
if you don't follow us on social media, you should probably do that because that's where we announced last night that, hey, this show got delayed because of the weather. Actually, we only really were able to post it on Twitter because Facebook and Instagram were all screwed up yesterday. So make sure to follow us on Twitter if you have one, at Smashing Heads, at Smashing Heads Podcast on Instagram. Search for that on Facebook, and smashingheadspodcast@gmail.com. If you want to email us something in longer form, and you can follow us on Podbean, subscribe, rate, review on iTunes, that type of thing. So we know we got some new listeners from the West interviews, part 1 and part 2, because our download numbers have just jumped a ton. That episode, I think, clearly became our most downloaded episode within like 36 hours. Part 1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Marie was the long-standing number 1 interview. We love Marie. She was great.
She still is.
She held that spot for a long time, but then Wes just took off like a rocket.
It's difficult to overcome the power of the red-headed freckle.
Yeah. It's again, he's a big name. He had a lot of hype around him because, again, this is the first season back in 5 seasons, and also he's been doing it for forever. So we appreciated him coming on, and again, he hasn't told us where he's at in the development of the Jingle app.
Oh yeah,
we need to get an update on that.
That's a big deal. Yeah,
might need to do a Kickstarter for that. Get all the funding in line.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, well, I would hope so because it's for you.
Yeah,
it's specifically for you and
no
literally
one
no one else.
But Wes's idea, all right, not my idea. Wes's idea.
Yeah, but you're gonna go with it
because he's my wingman,
and because you fundamentally could not understand how Tinder worked.
Weird layout.
Three directions.
Nope. I mean, I figured it out in 5 seconds.
All right, let's jump into last night's episode, which is weird for us to say, so we'll see how that goes.
Oh, yeah, that sounded weird.
It is what it is. It's the middle of the day. I kind of like recording in the middle of the day, if I'm being honest.
It's got a cozy feel to it.
I just like that we can, I had the windows open in the house, for a very long time, because it's 80 degrees outside and the sun is out.
Yeah.
It just makes me happy.
So, last night, the episode opens with kind of Wes and Dee coming back from their elimination, and they're hanging out with some people in the room, and I think the focus right away was on, hey, there's a big divide in this room. I mean, in the whole house. Like, there's the Brits that have a close-knit alliance, and then there is
everyone else.
Basically everyone else, vets, whatever you want to call them. And that is the running theme throughout this whole episode, essentially.
Right. Well, what I thought was funny was Wes was sitting with the other people in the house, and Kyle... Yeah, and they were all kind of like, oh, what are we going to do? We got to break up this British alliance. And Kyle's like, yeah.
Well, Kyle's in a weird spot because he's got the history with all the Brits, but he also has relationships with a lot of these new people because he's been doing this for the last 3 seasons.
Yeah.
And so...
Leroy was in his hat again.
Leroy was wearing that hat a lot, and it looked like it was like degrading over time. Like it looked like it started to fall apart.
Well, and someone had to take on... Brad's bug eyes in his absence, and we get plenty of that tonight from Leroy.
Supposedly, Leroy, his words, is that he got a very bad edit this season. And I will say, a lot of the reaction shots were not continuous shots. They would show Cam and whatever, and then they'd cut to Leroy, and it's kind of the same time of day, but that doesn't mean he was looking over at them and watching them.
Right.
They can do that pretty easily. I tend to believe Leroy just because he's not been one to come out and say he doesn't have that quote like victim mentality.
No, but he's been very upset.
This is a person. It's weird. Like we don't really see a lot of personal like stuff with Leroy as far as like relationships and things like that. And so he's not happy about that. Some other people chimed in and like, welcome to my world, which we might get into later, but we'll see. But yeah, it's it before even the Leroy stuff, we see Nani and Bear hanging out on like the rooftop or whatever it is, a little balcony area, and Bear's clearly trying to put the moves on, even though he's also been hooking up with Georgia this whole time.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of preemptive to Wes's quote bomb he was going to drop later in the episode.
Well, I mean, he was like all over Nani, and Nani was not really fighting him on it. She was kind of entertaining it.
She's again. We've seen this season. She's single. She's
ready to mingle.
She's gotten out of
just like Jingle,
a serious relationship, and
That's right.
She's just here to have fun, which is why she broke Chase's heart.
Tinder chase.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's totally fine for her to have fun. She just got out of a serious relationship.
But she did also say like, I don't see Bear in that light at all.
She did say she didn't like anything else about him.
Yeah, she thought it's fun to hang out with.
Yeah,
and it's something Chase can be proud of because he got farther with her than Bear did. So
yeah,
he did.
Hats off to Tinder Chase there.
Well, as
not
far
a
as
total
we
failure.
because
yeah, that's true. We haven't seen what happens later.
We don't know what comes around.
Well, he specifically wants a little cuddle from Georgia, a little kiss from Nani.
But also, I'm pretty sure when the season started, he said he has a girlfriend back home, and he's like, well, kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, because I remember the very first episode when all the newbies were sitting around in the tent. They're playing, like, what, Truth or Dare? And they asked him, they're like, do you have a girlfriend or are you in a relationship? And he's like, no. Well, yeah, no.
I think in Bear's mind, he perpetually never has one unless he just, like, needs to have one. I think he's with girls that believe that they're in relationships, but in his mind, he's like, maybe.
But that kind of sucks for them.
Oh, he is not.
I mean, he's not a good person from what we've seen.
Yeah, he's done. I've seen some clips from some British shows that were just him with his ex, and we see later on in this show, his whole life motto is just to lie about everything, just lie, deny everything. And even on the little clip I saw with one of his exes from one of the UK shows, she's like, "You cheated on me." He's like, "I never did." And then after 30 seconds, he's like, "I did once. I did." And she's like, "It was more than once." He's like, No. And he's like, "Well, it was a few times." And that's just where he's at.
Yeah.
He'll deny it and hope you believe him, and then he might give in later. So right after that was kind of when I wrote down, this is kind of where we start getting the Wes and Bear things start to flare up, because it looks like, and it could have been editing, it looks like Wes is kind of out on another balcony listening to what they say, and clearly he heard something because that comes up later. But after that is kind of where the first real instance of Cam and Theo come into play. We'd heard about it and they'd teased it and whatever, but I think this is what I was talking about earlier, where they're kind of outside the kitchen in the middle of the day, and she's laying over on top of him, and they're flirting.
Well, she's telling him all about her alter egos,
Which I tweeted last night.
Give us some Coach Cam, please.
We interviewed her last season, and she was great, and we were talking about her strategy, and she's Coach Cam, and she's like, "I like that one," and so I tweeted, I was disappointed we didn't hear about Coach Cam.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she just was like, "How could I forget her?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"I don't know."
Oh well.
But she's introducing those personalities to
which is
Theo.
fun. It's funny. She literally called them alter egos.
Yeah.
But it's interesting seeing her with Theo because, up until this point, I don't think it was really public knowledge that she and Leroy had ever really had anything going on, because they were very private.
There were rumors about it, but nothing ever happened on the show.
Yeah. And it didn't seem like they confirmed anything.
Neither one of them are to me, from what we know, Leroy's got a longer history of this than us. Than Cam, but they both kind of are not, "Hey, everyone, come look at my relationship and what we're doing." They seem to be both more low key and.
That's what I was saying.
That's why this is kind of surprising for Cam.
They're private.
Yeah.
They're both private people in general, and it seemed like with their whatever relationship they had, it was a private thing. So it was interesting to see that Leroy did not. He was so uncomfortable seeing her with Theo. Now that we know there was some really harsh editing in these past 2 episodes, I don't know how much to take of that to heart.
I did specifically look for that, to see if there was any sort of overlap, the camera wasn't cutting, or if they were in the same room, and it could be that he was watching like that, but we don't know for sure. It's one of those things. Now later on at the nightclub or wherever they're at, we see more, but that's another thing.
It speaks to, though, the relationship they may or may not have had coming in if you had an agreement to come in just as friends.
Yeah, there's
it speaks to the fact that there were still feelings there,
and there's
on both ends.
There's some. It's not just it was a hookup thing. There's history there.
Yeah. It was like an actual thing.
Yeah. He later on he says,
Yeah.
"I love you" multiple times, which is kind of, again, it's just unusual for us to see that from him.
It's this is where at some point in Leroy's head, you got to imagine the song queued up was Counting Crows' Big Yellow Taxi.
Pave paradise
Good
and put
song.
up a parking lot.
Good
You
song.
don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's going, right? And then here
And he found out the hard way.
Yeah, we have Cam over here. It could be Coach Cam, Killer Cam, regular Cam, any of them. And
Cam.
yeah, and Theo has come in and just kind of taken over. She's gone, for lack of a better way of putting it.
He's a new blood. He's an Olympic athlete.
Yeah, that's real impressive.
Again, he's super tall. He's a good looking guy. He
has
got an
a British accent.
Yeah. So I don't blame her. It sucks for Leroy.
No, hey, I'm not by no means disparaging Cam. you do you, you know? You, as she said, live your best life. A lot of people have said that, but she just recently said it on one of the more recent episodes. So,
Yeah.
no, man, good for her. But, you know, we wish a speedy recovery to Leroy. I'm sure he's fine now, but maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Who knows?
He was saddled with a not great partner in this whole situation, but
I mean, I've been saying this the whole time.
She came out of nowhere, didn't she?
I mean,
it's like she was never on the show.
I think that the first confessional from her that I even remember later on in this episode, like
there definitely hasn't been any words from her on our television, your
At
guys'
all.
television, since episode 1.
You know what's weird though? She posted on either Instagram or Twitter last night that the night that they went out and Leroy and Cam had that thing at the club or whatever.
Yeah.
Apparently that was Shailene's birthday celebration.
They didn't even tell anybody.
And usually they play that up. They're like, hey, it's whoever's birthday we're going out tonight. And they didn't mention it one time.
We didn't. I don't even remember seeing her at that scene.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like they cut her out of her own birthday from what we saw.
Oh my god!
Because she posted pictures, and again, unless I'm misquoting it, it is the exact same room. I'll try to pull it up real quick, but I was like, wow, they didn't even give her that.
Because there was like you had the Brits and then the U.S. and you didn't see her at either table.
Okay. So I'm real mad at MTV for the edit that they gave Leroy because he said it's very false. But I love MTV for doing that because that's freaking hilarious.
Well, let's be honest. She kind of did it to herself.
I mean, yeah, like we're 6 episodes into this show, and this is the first that we've really seen of her.
This is birthday celebration night. It's the same place.
Everybody's wearing the same outfit.
Yeah, I think I'd remember that dress.
Oh my gosh!
They just cut her out, man.
That's so funny.
Golly.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's because again we've had many times where birthdays happen on the show.
Yeah, and
they always play it up.
They have someone else announce it. They're like, "Oh, it's we just watched The Ruins. Kellyanne turned 23 in the middle of the season, and so they have a party. And Sarah comes on in her confessional, and she's like, "It's Kellyanne's birthday. We're trying to throw her a party to help her feel a little bit better, get her spirits up, and it's like a whole thing. And then they show the whole party and them celebrating her.
And they've had plenty where they're like go out to celebrate birthdays.
I was waiting on you to go on full Dunbar defender mode again. That's what I was waiting on.
That was the same night that it all happened.
But yeah, like it's. I saw that last night and I was like, did they really cut out her own birthday party? And they did apparently.
That is so funny
because she wasn't there anymore after that. It had to be the same night.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, that's funny.
So
tell us about Doom Buggy, Zach.
Well, I was gonna say. The next thing we see is the daily and another monster truck. Now again,
this Wes's?
Well, we know that it's not Wes's.
We can confirm it's not because he told us. He may have stretched the truth on that one a little bit.
Also, I mean, if it was his monster truck, it would be very hard to get it from Oklahoma to Namibia.
Yeah, Namibia.
Yeah. Think about how far away that is, and think about how heavy and large a monster truck is.
You'd have to ship it on a boat.
Yeah. How much do you think that would cost?
Wes is a practical man. He wouldn't do that.
Yeah, there's I feel like he's a frugal man, too.
I feel like you could just rent a monster truck for a lot cheaper than it would cost to ship your own, even though his is just like a Dodge Ram.
Jacked up.
Yeah. So yeah, we get into it. It is called Doom Buggy, DOM.
Well, speaking of Wes, he and Dee are safe from elimination for this one. And so what you expect for this challenge is that at least Wes will go after everybody else he doesn't like to try to make them screw up.
He said on Twitter he was going to just blow it and try to screw people over and get last place. But honestly, that doesn't benefit him because if he gets on the tribunal, he can still kind of dictate things, which is what he tried to do.
Yeah, what he did.
So I will say for this daily, the pairings were kind of weird. They said it was all random, but it wasn't like, it wasn't Ninja versus Kara and then Polly versus Theo. Like it was just mix and matched along the way.
Well, it made sense until they got to Gus and Jenna and made them go against each other, but they're teammates.
Again,
it is weird because
TJ said it was random.
You had situations where like if someone made it to the end first, and someone was still like making their way like on the 6th tire, like you unhook the tires and they're done.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I guess you just don't
You don't unhook
if
it.
Gus
you
actually made it, like you don't unhook.
You just wait for
You just
Jenna
wait
to
for
come
Jenna.
back.
Yeah, because then you get more
It's
tires.
weird. Yeah,
Yeah, again, there was some weird things about it. I do like this daily, though.
it's good daily.
Yeah, it was fun.
I will say, right off the bat, probably one of the biggest upsets of the season with Ninja versus Kara.
Yeah.
Ninja, you think
You
she's built for
expect
this.
her to do well in
they
this
were
one.
they were playing that up, which in hindsight they were playing it up too much. But 0, she got 0.
Yeah, it was very disappointing.
Shailene even got 2.
How about that?
I mean, that says something.
now that's an American Ninja Warrior right there.
I mean,
No, she's Canadian, isn't she?
Canadian Ninja Warrior.
There were 3 people that I wrote down that got 0. It was Ninja, Amanda, and Josh, which that's a team. A whole team got 0.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really bad. But yeah, that was probably the most surprising upset for me. But
And you had 2 people that made it all the way, and that was
3
3. You're right.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
Wes, Hunter,
and Polly.
And
No,
Polly.
and Kyle.
Kyle.
and Kyle.
4.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, we can't count.
I said 2, and I was like, no, I see at least 3 right here.
Well, what got me first off, because Kara and Ninja went first, they show Polly, and he's saying how proud he is to have her Ninja as his partner, and he says, "Oh, she's a 5-time American Ninja Warrior champion." But I'm pretty sure it came out that she's never actually won.
So
why does he call her a champion?
I don't watch American Ninja Warrior. I have in the past, so I can't 100% say with certainty what it is, but she's probably advanced through certain qualifiers. I think there's only like 3 people in the history of the show that have made the final thing and completed it.
Okay. See, that's who you would call the champion.
Yeah, and again, Kayla, who's not on this season, and her boyfriend, Mikey, who is a rapper, but also has competed on American Ninja Warrior.
What?
Yeah, he had really a big problem with them calling Ninja a champion because he's like, there's only like 3 people who have completed it.
Yeah, if I had done that and gone through and finished it and actually won, I would be upset about him calling her a champion because she hasn't won.
Oh, and to be clear, Mikey did not. He wasn't one of the 3 that like.
Yeah,
won.
no, I definitely did not expect him. So I mean, that was just one of the things that really got me. Like, she hasn't won. She's been on it 5 times, and she's a great competitor. She's really good
She may
at
have
it.
been on it more than that. I don't know.
But she hasn't won. She doesn't have the title, so you can't just give it to her because.
Well, in case you guys missed it, what Polly says goes.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah,
So-
well, she ended up with 0 tires, so really proved his point.
Let's just run through these. I'll run through the totals real quick, and if you got any notes on them, we can jump in. Ninja 0, Kara 3, less than I expected from Kara too, honestly.
Yeah.
Nani was the next one, got 5.
Wow.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Compared to the last 2 people
Yeah.
for sure. Amanda 0 right off the bat. Then we get to Ashley and Theo. Again,
Ashley Kane.
Yeah, the other Ashley's gone.
Well, I know. You just preface it.
The strength versus length, as it was coined. Ashley got 6 and Theo got 8. Now, the problem is Ashley crawled up to 8. He just forgot to release the tires behind him because I think he just was like, "Oh, I'll just go faster and try to get to the end," and that ended up screwing up their number a little bit.
Yeah. I hate that for him. He was really trying to think ahead.
Yeah. So then the next one was Kyle and Turbo. Kyle got 10. Turbo only got 3. That was another
Yeah.
letdown.
Before Turbo went, he was like, I never lose. And then I just wrote, Turbo never loses. But when he does, it really hurts my heart.
He said he took his eyes off of the something and then just tripped up. And
Yeah.
I will say I think they said that these trucks were going up to 30 kilometers per hour. I looked it up. It's like 18 miles an hour.
That's still pretty fast if it's dragging you.
But it's not crazy. Like, I was thinking I couldn't remember which way it went. I thought it went the other direction. I was
But, I
like,
mean-
they're going like 45 miles an hour.
That would be way too fast.
You ever been on a wakeboard?
Mm-hmm.
They're going
Yeah.
faster than 18. Right?
Have you ever been on the ones where when it hits a wave, you just go airborne and you just fly in the air?
Those are illegal.
They're illegal now because so many people have died.
I lived to soar through the air.
Yeah.
So then the next matchup, Leroy got 3, Hunter got 10. Then the next one, Wes versus Bear, which perfect that they lined up against each other. Wes got 10, Bear got 7. Bear might have completed it, but Wes obviously knocked him off. D got 2, which was disappointing because I think she could have done better than that. But Maddie got 1, and Maddie's long. Like she's really just like big and tall and got long arms.
Yeah, you're talking about. I mean, because of her size, she obviously weighs more than you're talking about pulling more weight too. Up those tires,
is.
So
yeah, I just expected her with her reach to be able to like really pull herself across. Davon got 2, Shailene got 2, Georgia got 2, Cam got 1. That's disappointing.
That was really disappointing. I wanted her to do better.
I haven't seen a lot of Cam like a lot out of her.
I mean, we have now.
Yeah, but it's not been like he's in competition.
Yeah.
I want to see more out of Cam going forward.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, it could be that she and Leroy had this awkward thing going on, and maybe it was at the forefront of her mind, and competing was at the back, and with Leroy there, it was just distracting.
Well, they did make the tribunal a couple episodes ago.
Yeah,
because Ashley was the one that flipped the vote. But then we get the weird round next. Jenna got 1, Gus got 3. And then it comes down to Polly and Josh. Josh falls off like right away. And so Polly doesn't have anyone he's like racing against, so he can just take his time and kill. I mean, and he was doing like a leapfrog type thing, jumping from end to end, so he gets all 10. But it comes down to the totals, and the tribunal ends up being Wes and D, Kyle and Maddie, and then Hunter and Georgia, and I believe one of them won by like 19 seconds. Is that right?
I thought it was 17.
I think it's 19.
Or 18.
It was 19.
It was 19.
Okay. It was close.
Yeah, and so they made it in. We knew Wes was, because they were killing it.
Did you see Cara was upset?
She was really upset.
Saw that coming.
Surprise. From there, like...
We're terrible people.
Yeah, we are. From there, we kind of get into the tribunal deliberation, and, Wes is in there. It's him with D, Hunter, Georgia, and then Kyle and Maddie. Perfect tribunal for Wes. I mean, that's like all the people he would want in a tribunal.
Let me say this real quick about Kyle, because I meant to say this before you got into the nomination stuff.
Okay.
Can we talk about how, like, Kyle has, like, flipped this on their heads, like, with Paulie and Cara? Like, because for him to go into an elimination where it was a double elimination against C2, who everybody had C2, who everybody had pegged as this is a guy coming out of this. You had Mad CT. You didn't just have regular cartoon CT.
Yeah, you did have Mad CT.
And you had JP wanted to
earn respect or something,
create a legacy or something. I don't know. And then to come out in this and be in the tribunal.
Well, and his partner came out of that elimination too, because he could have ended up with a new partner. And the fact that she only got 1, and he still was in the tribunal.
Yeah.
He is like, his first season, he did make it to the final, and he was out of shape and kind of, I mean, he wasn't like overweight or anything, but he wasn't in like competing shape really. Yeah. And he's smoking a lot, and he couldn't run as like long distance as the rest of them. But like, he's a competitor, man.
This has the making, if he makes it to the final, this has the making of, to be like one of the greatest performances, in my opinion, because
it's definitely
they're gunning
solid
for him every time. If he's not in that tribunal, he is going into elimination most likely.
And then he was safe that 1 week just because he won the double elimination.
Because even Wes, right, on the Ruins, which we just watched,
every single time until he finally went home,
and he didn't make it to the end.
Yeah,
and so that's why I say, like, if Kyle does it, man, like, that's a big feat.
Yeah,
to me,
No,
it's one thing to make it not having to go into any eliminations, which we've seen all these other competitors do. But if you're doing it when you're a target to get thrown in every single time
by two teams
that have been in the tribunal almost every time,
and then this was a weird daily because neither one of them made it, and we get into the deliberation for the tribunal, and Wes from the beginning says they want to like throw in Bear.
Want to break up the UK stuff.
Yeah.
Well, he wanted to break up the UK stuff, but also Bear is the target because he caused such a stir last week.
Well, yeah, he almost quit the elimination. He jumped on everyone's poker. Like, again, he is someone they want. And honestly, he's a pretty good competitor when he doesn't quit. Like, he is. But the thing is, Wes is saying that sitting right beside Georgia. And also Kyle's there. But again, Kyle's kind of a fringe UK. Mm-hmm. He's got friends in it that he doesn't want to vote for. But this is where Georgia kind of like stands her ground. Like, I'm not voting for Bear or whatever. And this is where Wes's bomb came in. And it's mean. And I think it goes back to what Wes said in our interview. He's like, I don't have a problem with bullying when it has to do with the game.
I wouldn't call this. I just wouldn't call this bullying.
But you get what I'm saying. It's trying to throw her off.
Yeah.
It's not like, hey, your sister's whatever. Like, he's trying to get in her head on this, and so I don't have. I thought it was funny the way that because he said it in such like a clinical way. He's like, oh, by the way, Bear said he's more sexually attracted to Nani than he is to you. And
Which wasn't a lie.
Yeah, he was listening in on it. And that it did break her. Like, it caught her off guard. Mm-hmm. And so that's who they're voting for. It's Bear and Davon. Georgia and Hunter go for Josh and Amanda because they've already been thrown in and they've already gone back and forth with each other.
Well, I mean, Josh and Amanda are who they voted or nominated for elimination every single time that they've been in the tribunal. So it makes sense. And Hunter even said so himself. You know, why would we make another enemy?
Well, and Amanda and Josh voted for them when he went in against Ashley. So that's where all this started.
That's where it started, yeah.
And so obviously Kyle's going after Polly. Like, duh, we knew this. So then, the next it's Polly, Davon. I mean, no, sorry, Davon.
Polly and Davon.
No, that was last season, but they weren't together even then. Basically, Bear and Davon, Polly and Ninja, and Josh and Amanda. They're the nominations, and it's Bear obviously doesn't take it well. He's jumping off right away. Polly expects it. Duh. I mean, everyone. If you didn't see that coming, then you're not paying attention. Josh and Amanda get upset for some reason, but at the same time, it makes sense for Hunter.
Well, he's confused as to who called his name.
Yeah, and
it's like it's probably the guy that did it the last time,
and the guy that you did it to before that.
Right.
I mean, duh. They have to nominate 3 teams. Why make anybody else mad?
This interaction between Kyle and Paulie.
Here's where I want to get into.
Let's get into this because there's a
at
lot
the tribunal thing.
Yeah. There's a real interesting dynamic here that we haven't seen,
and we all caught it immediately. And we're
like,
this is okay. So let's just. But before that, I have on here where Bear said lying is the best policy. Were Bear and Davon the first ones in the tribunal?
I believe so.
Okay,
Bear even said to Wes, if you're going to start playing games with me, I'll play them better.
Yeah, and which...
I got to say, man, like...
He's cocky.
You talk about Paulie being a character. Yeah. This character that Bear is, this is a character.
It's a little bit much.
I love it.
Of course you do.
I love it because, like, it almost comes off as like a Bond villain to me. Seriously.
Because he's British.
Is it because of the shirt he was wearing?
No, it
was very Miami Vice. And he had his hair slicked back.
It's even the way he emotes. Like he's got them beady eyes, like he's squinting his eye. He's pointing the finger guns at you, and it's just like, man, that is like movie villain.
He should have had a toothpick in his mouth.
Yeah, man. They're like stuck behind his ears, some gold chains. Like if they made a British version of The Godfather, he's your villain.
Okay.
You don't believe me?
No, I just I'm not saying I disagree with it. Like, he is definitely...
I love it.
I don't know if he's a villain. Like, I just think
antagonist. He
just thinks he is so much better than everyone and really hasn't done anything to prove that at this point. And I don't know if he has, again, the history or knows the history of some of these older guys like Wes and whatever else.
Did you watch the Brendan Fraser Mummy?
Yeah, that's a good one.
So he reminds me of Benny in that movie.
Really?
All right. Which, not in the sense that like Benny was kind of skittish and like frantic a little bit, but the Mummy's like, what is it? He does all the Mummy's dirty work for him, right? Like he goes and gets all these like
he's like a henchman
people for him to
in exchange for staying alive.
to feed off their flesh and all this stuff. And there's this one scene where he's got one of the Americans that touched like this forbidden treasure in the room, and the mummy had already taken this guy's eyes and his tongue. All right, but he had to finish him off because he's got to regenerate, right? And so Benny's in there, and I see it the way he's like pointing at him, like, man, you can put Bear right there. You can put Bear in this movie.
What a great reference from 20 years ago.
You're our tech guy. Can you go back into this movie and like, can you?
I don't want to.
But you could.
I could probably, yeah.
That would be great.
Yeah, I don't want to do that.
Good movie, by the way. Holds up.
What about The Rock as the Scorpion King with the CG?
Not so much.
Yeah. Yeah, it's let's get into the Bear one. He was calling out Wes. They're going at it. Wes, I think though, Wes just from what we saw, just kind of sits back and takes it. And
I don't think he said anything.
He didn't say a word. Nobody from the edit that we saw, nobody really said anything except Bear just came in yelling, and then he walked back to the door, and Davon's like, "Are we done?" And he said, "Yes," and she's like, "Okay." Which
is complete different than when Bear was in last time.
Yeah.
But we also didn't have people screaming at him. Like again, Wes just kind of sat there and took it. But
I think Wes loves it though.
He does. Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he loves that he's stirring up the pot.
He started laughing like right away. But
and then Bear didn't get mad at Wes. He got mad at Dee for laughing because she was snickering a little bit.
Again, there may be people that would say, "Oh, it's whatever." I don't know. We don't know Bear.
Don't pull the woman card.
I know.
Yeah.
We're terrible people.
But
no, not we.
Here's
Bear.
Here's where it comes in. This is what we wanted to get to more than anything else in this whole episode.
This right here.
So Kyle and Polly's interaction was the most 100% opposite than what it was when Kyle was standing down there at the tribunal.
Well, the thing is, what I was trying to say is Polly walks in, and compared to their just in general aura in these tribunal meetings in the past, he walks in almost without a care in the world.
Kind of giggling. Like, seriously?
But not like the sarcastic, like,
No. Like,
it was like, haha, you got me. That's a good one.
So here's, and then Kyle and Polly, they're like, you know what this is. And they're just kind of,
like, they didn't even say anything.
They're kind of playful about it and, like, laughing. And I paused it and I was like, what is happening? I was like, this is the exact opposite. Because, again, last time when Kyle was down there, they're yelling at each other. Polly jumps off.
Screaming. They were going to fight.
What's the common denominator here?
Kara's not in the room.
And anytime there's these crazy altercations between them, she's in the room.
Yes.
Or she's around.
Because, again, Polly knows that she likes it whenever he kind of blows up. But, again, I have been very vocal of my criticisms of Polly as a person and as a character. If he acted like this and then just competed the way he did, I would almost completely turn around my stance on him, because that is a fun thing to watch, is him and Kyle knowing that they're going at it and not this fake, oh, I'm going to fight you, but I'm not really ever going to fight you. Let's get in each other's face. Like,
I'll knock you out, beat you to a pulp.
That interaction was so
genuine. Not
even that. It was like, they knew what they were doing, and they weren't playing it up. They're just like, we're going to get each other.
Like, it's your turn now.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, let's get more of that.
Yeah, no, my only note was I literally wrote, I kind of like that Polly came in like legit laughing like he and Kyle were old buddies. And then Kyle was too, and this is the Polly I want to see.
He was not in heel character. You got to admit that.
But I don't know that it's so much a character.
If it's not, then he's schizophrenic.
Because there is the Kara dynamic.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
And even Wes kind of spoke on it a little bit, right?
Yeah,
in our interview.
Yeah.
So you think that it's not...
I think he knows what gets Kara kind of hot and riled up, like in a good way for him.
Inappropriate
right?
way.
Inappropriate way, right? And so he's all about that, right? And so he wants to get a rise out of a good kind of rise. Am I making you look at me like I'm crazy sometimes, and then I just want to stop talking.
No, the thing is, like, he clearly plays into all that when she's around, 100%. But he has to like subconsciously put that, like he has to know that, oh, I'm gonna take it here, because
Right.
if not, then he's crazy. Like he's got to be aware that he's doing that. Now, again, Wes was saying he's more calculated and he's whatever, but I was like, oh, so he's not dumb enough to like get in his own emotions and get kicked off the show. And for fighting, he's like, well, I wouldn't say that. He's like, he definitely is, but
The thing we can't forget is there's a transformation happening here into the Joker. So you have to keep that in the back of your head too.
So you think the actual Joker persona kind of step back and let the actual Polly come through in this instance?
I think some people just want to watch the world burn.
I think we already have the
God,
Joker this
no.
season, and it's Bear, and Polly is Chris Angel or whatever he was. Like, I still don't know what that costume was.
Listen, I've come around on Bear. Paulie is the Joker.
Here is my thing. It dawned on me, I think it was either earlier today or last night after you left, Jake. I don't really remember because all my days are running together, but it did hit me. I remember last season, most of the first part of the season, like the first 2/3 of the season, we did not like Polly. And then it seemed like gradually out of nowhere, that middle section of the last third of the season, we liked Polly for just a hot second because he was less in character and more of like a genuine person competing on a show.
Because he'd been living in a redemption house for a month.
I know. And so
He had limited interaction with the rest of the cast.
And so towards the end of the season, I remember that like out of nowhere, we were like, oh, maybe we're kind of turning the page on Polly. Maybe we can kind of like him. And then again, all this other stuff happened. And then the stuff after the season happened that just showed us that, I mean, he just everything. And so I feel like this is another instance where we went all this time strongly disliking him just as a person and as a character. But like this episode, I did not have a problem with him. I was impressed with the way he competed in that daily challenge. He finished. He was one of the only 4 people that finished the challenge.
Or 2, according to Jake.
Or 2. But and he did it quickly. He did it well. I was impressed by that. And then he wasn't an awful person.
I will say I if he would act like what we saw on this episode, it completely changed what my whole stance is about him. But I will say, we are almost Stockholm syndrome with him a little bit right now, because there's been so much negative that we get one little glimpse of something and we're like, it's better. It's so much better.
It's like a fleeting moment.
Your guys' love for the man they call Paulie is so conditional, and your appreciation of him is so temporal. And it's based off, well, if he acts this way, then you know what? We'll appreciate him. And I think that is downright dirty, man.
No, what's dirty
It's dirty.
is being in a relationship with a woman and then lying to her to be in a relationship with another woman and then lying to both of them.
You are
pretending to go hang out with your mob family, but then going on a vacation in Mexico with the first girlfriend.
That is the weirdest.
And then staying in hotel rooms with girlfriend number 2 and telling girlfriend number 1 that you're just working on your photography.
That is the weirdest part of the whole situation was the whole mob tie-in thing.
I don't like men that lie and cheat on women. That's what's dirty.
Neither
it's
do I,
not
man.
dirty of me to dislike men that do that.
So,
But I think what gets misconstrued about my appreciation for Paulie is that I think you guys hear me talk about him, and you think I'm talking about the total encapsulation of who Paulie is. I'm purely talking as a character on the show and as a competitor on the show. Because I won't argue with you. I'm not a dirtbag, right? Like, this... Okay. All right. Like, clearly, the stuff he's done is pretty awful.
yeah,
It is.
Yeah.
All right? And I'm not going to argue that. I've never once spoke on that when I'm talking about his greatness on the show. All right? So don't get it twisted. I'm not applauding the guy for playing around with these girls' heads, because I'm not for that. I'm a more
Anti-games guy.
I'm an anti-games guy. We don't do head games over here.
Okay.
We don't do head games over
Yeah,
here.
good one.
You can form your own opinions, all right? It's like my mom said, opinions are like buttholes. Everybody has them. Did your mom said that?
No.
Did your mom said
No.
that? My mom says that, all right? And it's true. Everybody's got an opinion. So you form whatever opinion you want about me and about Paulie, all right? The fact is, he's great. Non-relationship stuff and purely challenge stuff, which is what our podcast is on.
Yeah.
He is killing it.
He's
doing well this
he's doing
season.
good. No,
I'm not
he's
going to
been-
take that from him.
He has been the best performer this season.
He has had the best daily performances. Yeah, I'll 100% say that.
See, and you're still trying to cut him short.
No, I was gonna
No,
say
he just hasn't been in elimination,
That's the
right?
point.
No, I was
Yeah.
gonna say last season was when all this started with you, and you had not much legs to stand on with that.
All right, what's
If any.
all right? So we've talked about this before, right? Like you're only as strong as your weakest link.
Yeah,
Okay, he has a strong teammate with him this season,
arguably the strongest of.
Right.
Today was an anomaly.
and as far as we know about Natalie, the other Natalie, the original Natalie, no disrespect, hasn't shown to be much of a performer.
Weirdly good at dailies, not good at eliminations.
Yeah.
And rolling in a cage like a hamster.
But again, we don't really. Polly's not good at eliminations. Like, they won to get out of the final redemption house, like, however long into it was, but they also lost a bunch to keep going back in.
Right.
I'll give you, he's really good at the dailies, but you can't say he's good at eliminations right now.
But again, he was tied to not a great teammate.
But
We saw it with CT, did we not?
Yeah.
We saw it with CT last season, and you could.
But we also have seen it with Wes, with one of the worst partners of all time, that
Right.
he won those eliminations. So again, I think we honestly, like, the truth is somewhere in the middle of the way we both talk about it. Like, it's somewhere like we have to give on each side, because I can admit, like, what we saw last night, enjoyable, but also, like, at some points you're just like, again, his personality just doesn't vibe with me. Like, even after he won, he's in the GoPro, like, talking up, best there ever was. I'm the vet I'm here to take everybody's money this season.
Oh, but Bret the Hitman Hart can say it, and everybody's fine with it.
I wasn't fine with it
Like,
then.
you weren't a Bret Hart fan.
No.
You know, because he always said, the best there ever was. I'm the best there is, the best there ever was, and the best there ever will be. God, somebody's going to kill me over that.
Rest in peace.
He's not dead. He's still very much alive.
His brother is.
Yeah, God rest his soul. Tragedy.
Yeah. So again, the truth is somewhere in the middle. We are aware of that. I mean, it is what it is.
And Cara clearly has an effect on their dynamic.
Absolutely, 100%. If
Yes.
anything,
That's where this conversation
Yes.
got started.
That's if anything, that's exactly what it is. That is the thing.
it was 100% a different mood in that room, because there was not an agitator pushing it along one direction or the other.
It was just weird. It made me a little bit uncomfortable because it's just the opposite of what we expected. But it was a good uncomfortable. I liked it. I wish that they were like that more often with each other.
Yeah. Again, I think we're all on the same page on that. So Bear says he's going after Wes from here on out. We're never gonna leave him alone. Whatever he said. This is where they go into the club and have the night out again, which we talked about earlier, where they cut Shailene's whole birthday out of it.
So this
that's
is where they
sad.
go out for Shailene's birthday, but they don't tell us it's for her
But
birthday.
unless you,
And
unless
then
you
they
follow
don't,
her on
and
Instagram,
then
you
they
don't know.
show her at all.
Where Leroy got upset about the bad edit he got, I would be equally as upset if I was Shailene that no one mentioned that was my birthday. That's the last time I'm coming on MTV.
Well, honestly, this was probably the last time she was going to be on
There's
this.
a good
I
chance of that,
I
yeah.
think this was her first time on MTV. She's from The Bachelor
yeah.
Canada.
No, it is, but she's not coming back to this show. There's
Nah.
no way.
I don't think she'll get a call back because she just didn't give us anything.
She's not a good competitor, and she was boring enough that they cut her out of her own birthday.
That says a lot. Also, that was a little bit harsh.
It was, but I'm just being a realist, and even Wes said that was one of the worst casting decisions MTV has ever made.
Well, if he said it, we can just quote him.
So it's
What got me? Hunter and Nani
I was
weird.
I was going to get to that because this right before that was when we heard Leroy drop the
L-bomb.
love. Yeah, with
Yeah.
Cam. That was the first time we'd heard that.
It was weird though. It like came out of left field.
But again, she wasn't shocked by it. It didn't seem, and so that makes me think that this is the way they had been talking in the past. So Leroy pulls her aside. They talk. Then I think we get into the Hunter and Nani thing, and that was weird because again, Nani's just here to have a good time. Again, we talked about it earlier. She's single. She can do what she wants. But one thing that they had cut out of the first handful of episodes was that Hunter and Julia had hooked up.
Amen.
Okay. Hallelujah.
Gross.
They had hooked up.
Also,
and,
that's a weird pairing.
yeah, but again, it's one of the things that they cut out of the season so far. But next is where we see Cam and Theo in the corner being pretty affectionate.
Necking it.
I wish you would stop using that word.
I don't think I've ever heard you use that word.
I have absolutely used that word.
I don't remember.
They weren't necking, by the way.
They were kissing and whatever, and this is like we hadn't seen anything from Turbo this episode, and this is Leroy's upset and Nani is like holding him back, and because again they're old school friends from the real world, and this is where they kind of start. There's some tensions rising.
Great real world season.
It is.
By the
It was
way.
really great. Mike, Crazy Adam. All
That's
those.
right.
But this is where Turbo jumps up from the table, and he's like, "Maybe someone will die."
I know. That was like my favorite thing because he said it in a way like, not like, oh, maybe someone will die, but like he was eager and happy about it. And it was just so funny.
It was like bemusement. Like he was excited about the possibility.
I cannot stress this enough. I love him so much. I'm so glad that he's on here.
He's quickly risen to a lot of people's fan favorites.
He's so funny, and he's a good competitor.
Yeah, shout out to Logan because that's from the Hendrick Files because that's going to be our episode title is Maybe Someone Will Die.
I picked that out.
Well, we all did. He thought
It was an option.
Yeah, he thought that it was going to be the impenetrable ginger skin or whatever Wes said, but I wanted to do a Turbo one. We've done enough Wes quotes.
Hey, we like Logan over here, though.
Yeah. Logan's a good guy. If you want another,
Supposed to meet up at a Titans game, but
that's your fault.
That
yeah,
kinda fell
you were
through.
supposed to meet up with him beforehand, and then
Yeah.
you forgot.
I'm terrible at being on time. I'll just go ahead and say it.
You're a turd.
Well.
Yeah. So again, if you want another challenge related podcast, check out the Hendrick Files. He just had Tony Raines on. He just interviewed him. So Logan's
Tony's
good.
a good guy.
I wish you'd have just said Tony because you guys are on a first name basis.
We haven't talked. I don't know Tony. So
We'd like to talk to Tony.
yeah, this is
Tony's cool.
surprisingly after all this whole stuff with Leroy being upset and Turbo saying someone will die. This was the first Shailene interview I remember from the whole season.
Yeah, at all in history.
It
was weird hearing her voice.
There's someone on Reddit that actually keeps up with that, and after every episode, they'll post how many times each person was in the interview, and I'll check through that. I don't know. I can guarantee Shailene's probably had one or two other ones, but it is not many compared to everyone else. And this is definitely the first time for that night. Again,
We didn't even pay attention to what she said because we couldn't believe she was on the TV.
I don't remember anything she said. She didn't say anything about it being her birthday.
She didn't mention it.
She may have, and they cut it. Who
Has there
knows?
been any,
They may have.
Has there been anyone more non-existent on a television show that has been casted for a television show than what she was for the challenge this season?
Not that I know
I mean,
of.
the problem with that theory is that they probably were so
That's
forgettable that we're not going to
Yeah.
remember them.
Yeah.
There's a handful of people that do nothing, but even people like Anastasia from
Yeah, but
she left her mark.
Her
she
whole
did.
thing was she was insane.
and she hooked up with CT. And,
Mama Kim.
well, Kim had 2 seasons, but yeah, we've got a little bit of a history with her.
You
Affinity
have a little
towards
bit
her.
of a history
I have
with
a
her.
bit of an affinity towards her.
It's
It's weird.
It's
Like
again,
Mama Kim.
I think the problem is we would not remember the names.
Well, we're Mama Kim fans over here.
Yeah,
If anybody
again.
wants to let her know, she's
Yeah.
still alive.
She is. She is
not dead.
alive
She's
and
not
well.
dead.
If you don't listen to
She's
our
doing just fine.
and she is a mom.
if you didn't
She
listen
is.
to our ruins recaps,
She's a boy mom.
We didn't know. We didn't know if she was alive or not.
We could neither confirm nor deny, but we have confirmed.
I
since.
confirmed it.
Yeah. So
Took a little digging.
We get into the nominations for the challenge, or not challenge, but the Killing Floor elimination, which is, we didn't know at the time, but it's called Sandbag Burn.
Interesting name.
Probably worse than a carpet burn.
Probably.
It did sound like one of those things that, you know, when you like have to repeat it so many times to like get your mouth ready for like public speaking or something, like a tongue twister.
Like Ron Burgundy's warm-ups.
Yeah,
like
but like a tongue
The
twister.
arsonist has oddly shaped feet, or whatever he said. There's a kid in our front yard. I just saw him.
Whoa, that's
Yeah.
pretty wild.
We have kids in our front yard all the time because we have a tree with low branches and they love to climb it.
I was trying to look and see if I could see them, but
You
there's
were
not
looking
really.
through
You're
a
looking
wall.
at a wall.
Not your kids though.
And
We don't have any.
Yeah, it.
You have me.
That's true.
You are a kid.
So we get into the nominations. Kyle and Maddie stick with Polly.
Yeah, but Polly was beaming at Kyle and Maddie for voting him in, but not sarcastically.
again, there's another kid just ran by.
They love our yard.
It was again with no problems this episode with him, but we knew that was going to go that way. Georgia and Hunter.
Josh and Amanda.
Well,
No,
Georgia
Georgia
did.
did.
Georgia did. Hunter went Bear, and
If Georgia would have thought about it,
Yeah.
she knew Hunter was going to vote with Wes. She should have possibly sided with Kyle and went after Polly and Ninja because we don't know what happens when the votes tie up. And if she couldn't throw in Bear or whatever, clearly she just threw her vote away. I mean, that's what happened. Now, I will say, this elimination, I think anyone that I don't know. I was about to say anyone that went up against Shailene and Leroy was going to win, but Davon and Bear might have been close between Pauly and Ninja, but Ninja's all upper body strength. Like, she would have killed that sled thing. So it comes down. Wes and Dee get their way. It's Bear and Davon. Bear immediately
he
starts.
continues to
He does.
give him the finger guns, and he's let's do the accent, Han. I can't do it. What's he getting them with?
You dirty, stinking
God, I
rat.
loved it. I loved it.
I like that I can like tell the region that all the British people are from based
Yeah.
on, even though like the UK is not a huge area, especially compared to like the US.
But they have different dialects,
Yeah.
like Boston, Massachusetts versus Savannah, Georgia.
But think how far away that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Bear starts doing that, and TJ's like, "Who you picking?" And he's about to start jumping, and that's when Davon starts singing to him.
Yeah, she's like, let's discuss it.
Well, and then he points. I noticed he pointed with his index finger and his middle finger.
It's more
So
like a
it's-
now
gun.
it's like
So it's a double barrel
it's
gun.
a double-barreled shotgun over here.
Instead of a pistol, which it was the
Yeah.
first time, it turned into a double barrel
I
gun.
do, man. I'm all in on Bear, man. Like this episode, like really, I like Bear.
He does make good TV.
I like Bear.
He's entertaining, that's for sure.
yeah.
He kept me on the edge of my seat.
They basically go through it, and they're discussing quietly. He's trying to be strategic on who they should pick, and he doesn't want to throw in a lot of the UK people, but
Which that's how all the UK people are.
But they immediately, not immediately, but they ultimately settle on Leroy and Shailene.
Which Shailene's friends with Leroy and Davon is friends with Shailene and Leroy, which was a big
But
deal.
she knew she could beat Shailene.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I think anybody could.
our doorbell just went off
One of
because
those kids is at my front door.
You want to let them in?
they didn't ring it. It's just motion sensor.
What if
We-
they watch the challenge?
We do have Kool-Aid. We have like 4 boxes,
first of all-
packs of Kool-Aid in the fridge if they want them. We have grape.
That's weird.
Those
we
are-
have
those are my
grape
Kool-Aids.
and 2 of the blue, the tropical punch, and then 1 of the red fruit punch. So if they want any, I've got plenty and
First
lots
of all,
of snacks.
First of all, screw those kids.
I have
those
a lot
are,
of cookies.
Oh, man, we do this podcast
Chips
for the kids.
Ahoy.
Those are my.
I have crackers.
Those are my Kool-Aid jammers, and no one else can have them because I bought them.
them. We say all the time how we do this podcast for the kids.
I don't think we've ever once said that.
I have said it a number of times.
You said we do this for the kids.
I seem to say a lot of things that you guys don't agree with. So
that's not that we didn't agree with. I just don't remember you saying it.
Well, Jake, I
start
do
my
a
own
lot of
podcast.
things for kids, but a podcast about a show on MTV.
These kids don't need to be watching this.
don't think
It's
so?
not for
No.
them. They don't need to know what doing alcohol and doing drugs is.
And Wes, we'll get to that in a minute. Yeah, basically they get into the elimination. Davon clearly has the advantage on Shailene. Leroy seems to have an advantage on Bear, but like I said earlier, Bear competes. Like he's not going to give up.
Well, you have to also remember Leroy hurt his back really bad a long time ago.
Yeah, and but I don't know how much that still affected him. He did say when they were over, like his back was hurting him. But
Yeah, that made me nervous.
they're doing it. It's edited in a way to make it probably look closer than it was. But I mean, ultimately, Leroy and Bear finish, and it comes down to Davon and
girls.
Shailene. And Davon
had more drive in her. Shailene was like,
Davon's stronger than her.
well, she's mom.
She is. She's got that mom. She said, "I'm doing
Yeah.
this for my kid. Like,
Yeah.
I'm friends with these other two people, but it's for my daughter. Like, I don't care about that."
Yeah.
And that'll.
Mom strength is a different kind of strength. You can lift cars.
So she basically she was pulling like 2 or 3 at a time when Shailene was pulling 1.
Barely.
That's actually a confirmed theory, by the way.
What?
Like, you ever watch the original Incredible Hulk TV show with
No.
Lou Ferrigno?
I don't think you did.
I absolutely
Really?
did. Yeah.
We weren't even alive then.
No, but they got it on VHS
Okay.
at one point. There's a scene where a mom's kid, like they just had a car wreck and she got out somehow, but the car's on fire and she's lifting the car, man.
Yeah, it's something to do with your body like pushes so much adrenaline into your like you don't realize that you can tap into that until you like need it.
Well, thank God for the Incredible Hulk for confirming that.
I don't think
'Cause
they
they did.
confirmed it.
They confirmed it for me. I didn't know that when I was like 7 years old. And then I watched that and I said, that's a real
You're
thing.
like, this is a reality show.
Right.
Everything that happens here is science based.
There's your next daily challenge.
Yeah.
Let's turn some cars over.
My kids. See who makes it out alive.
Pull a kid out of the front yard and go turn a car on him.
I'm not gonna murder my neighbors. Yeah, again, Shailene lost it. That's all it comes down to. Like she did. Davon beat her, and Bear's talking, and this is where Wes comes in. He's like, "I would have killed you at this," and then he
Careful.
Yeah, I know.
Careful.
He says some things, but he would have like. Wes and D would have beat either of these teams. I can probably almost 100% say that.
Well, even, D said Shailene's kind of a lost cause.
Again, we interviewed D. She said Shailene was in our room and we didn't even really hang out with her. But everyone else in that room hung
This is
out
like a
with her.
real life thing, too. You just don't know she's there.
Yeah, like they said that's how like wallpapery she was.
What show was she on?
The Bachelor Canada.
We need to go watch that.
I do
and
not want to watch
and
I
that.
don't
see-
watch The Bachelor in general. Why would I want to watch The Bachelor Canada?
Well, I just want to see if she's as not noticeable and invisible.
No,
on
she
that
may
show.
have been. That's why she didn't win.
Let me see how far she got in that show.
Yeah, let's check on that real quick because that's an important little factoid and may support why she was the way she was.
Here's the thing. So, again, I think this goes back to the fact that how not when the show was announced and the cast was announced, I went through and followed every single person on social media that is in the new cast. I got to Shailene, which was officially tagged by MTV, and she had like 1,700 followers, which is nothing compared to most of these people. Like Bear is like 1.5 million, which he's an anomaly on that. But we are 6 weeks into this show now, and she has 2,500 followers. I'm not saying that means everything, but I'm also saying it doesn't look great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look and see where she was
Because
at.
I have personal friends that have 10,000 followers
I tell you what,
that are not on TV.
I'm gonna go give her a follow right now.
Really?
Yeah, I feel bad.
Do you follow everybody because you feel bad?
No, I follow Polly. How you spell her
Oh.
name?
Shailene.
Shalen. Is that right? Or ENE?
Shailene Sutherland.
Yep.
There she is.
Maybe.
All right. Well, she's got 2579 now.
Good
Yeah,
for you,
That's
Jake.
her. All right. Tell you what, let me go like that first picture. There we go.
What I will say about the elimination is I just feel really bad for Leroy because he deserved to go a lot further in this season.
Okay.
He took a few
Hold on.
off.
Sorry. I got a revelation.
Oh, God. I love this.
Shailene was eliminated after one episode of The Bachelor.
No way.
Yes.
I literally said that's why she didn't make it far.
They had 20 contestants to start with. They eliminated 5 on episode 1, and she was gone. She didn't even make it to episode 2.
How did she get cast on this show?
I have no idea.
And that's not a shot at her. That's not,
she just...
How did they say, going through all these, how do you look at a bear and then look over at Shailene and say, let's get her?
Like, literally, she didn't make it out of episode 1 of The Bachelor or The Bachelor Canada. I thought maybe, she got top 4, whatever. How did she get on the show?
She just, I mean, let's be real. This is not, Ricky's son.
By the way, I asked my cousin about that quote.
He said it.
He didn't know it.
All right, well, she's not made for reality TV.
Definitely
at this
not.
point.
So the weird thing is, it would be different if she was like used to be like a college athlete or something like that. But that's clearly not the case either. Were they just like, we need a girl from Canada? I just I'm not trying to be disparaging to her.
No, this is not.
I don't know how she made it on this show because this is not up her alley.
I don't know how when you're doing casting for this, you look at her.
Because I'd say the rest of the cast is a home run.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's been very, everybody's got their own personality. Some of them clash, and then we're really entertained. And then some of them don't clash, and they're really funny, and we're really entertained.
95% is still an A. So you can't kill a casting director over that. But this one's very questionable.
Do you think it was one of those we have a deal with ABC's The Bachelor and we have to get someone from it and we couldn't get who we wanted and she was all that was left that could come on last minute?
It could be that no one else from The Bachelor wanted to come on and they already had Chase come in.
Man.
Anyway, that's whatever. That's
what a wild little factoid there.
That is, man, I kind of feel bad for her now after all the stuff that happened in this.
Whew. I feel like she just wasn't up for it at all.
No, and she was just it was so disappointing seeing her on the show, but also just seeing her in this elimination because I wanted Leroy to go really far in this season. He deserves to make it to at least one final.
Didn't he make it to the final with Mike?
They did, yeah. And they were
that was his first season.
The night after because they had to spend the night standing on a log or something. Mikey couldn't do it no more.
Yeah,
Again,
that's the thing.
Another guy not built for the show, but he tried.
I mean, he was good,
he gave
though.
his all.
He had his niche, right?
And he was really nerdy. Nobody really expected anything out of him, but he
Paula
gave his
did.
heart.
He hooked up with Paula.
He gave every ounce of effort he had in his body.
Leroy landed on him one time.
And he was entertaining.
Leroy landed on him and made him cough up blood. Do you remember that?
Yeah, in the water.
Yeah.
The one time Leroy made a final was with probably the most physically unqualified guy to ever be on a
But
challenge.
he was good TV.
He was. No, he
man,
was great.
I loved him. I know he'll never come back because he's a one and done, but he was so great and I would watch any season he was on. If he came back, I would watch it twice.
That Real World season's good.
Just to get more screen time of Mikey.
He's the exact opposite of Adam Royer, who was the guy that he was Leroy was partnered with to begin with.
Yeah.
But yeah, it
All right, here's I want Hannah
he did make that final.
I want Hannah to do this. So Bear, after they've won, he does the finger guns to everybody again.
The double barrel.
He says, I want you to do this. You're Brit. I want you to put your guns up.
She's not British.
Just do both of them.
I'm not British.
Give me both of them.
I'm from Tennessee.
He said, don't go against us. You tried and you failed. Let me hear it.
Oh, I don't remember how he said that.
Just give it your best.
God, you're putting me on the spot.
It's hitting Ricky's sign.
What was it?
Don't go against us. You tried and you failed.
God, I don't know how to do. This is going to sound awful.
No, I want it.
Okay, but you owe me. Next time I want you to do something on here, you got to do it.
All right.
Don't go against us. You tried and you failed.
I love it. Because I see
better
it.
than I could do.
That was so bad.
I'm
That was
bad.
good.
I'm really bad with accents.
Yeah,
You are. You
I don't
suck.
do accents.
Jake, you can do it pretty good, George Bush Jr.
Yeah.
You don't even have to try.
Real funny.
Good
Yeah,
joke.
there you go.
The only other note I had on this was after they won and Bear was like going off and everyone
Finger gunning him.
Leroy walked up to him quietly and was like, "You're being a poor sport."
Tighten it up.
Yeah, he said, "Chill,
Yeah.
tighten it up."
My last note was Wes would have killed this.
Oh yeah, we already said that. Like he would have. He would have beat any of those teams.
Yep. Because D would have beat Davon.
Yeah, the only one that Ashley and Cam would have been a tough one to fight against on this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get into the superlatives because the preview. I will say one quick note I had. I don't like when the editing for teasers gives stuff away, and I wrote early on in my notes that Bear wasn't going to go home because we know that there's a big interaction with Bear and Wes where Wes is yelling at him saying, "You're playing my game." It's a big thing they played up, and that hasn't happened yet. So unless they cut it out of the season like they did with Shailene's birthday, I knew Bear was coming back. And so I don't like when the editing gives stuff away. They did that 1 or 2 seasons ago where they did a cliffhanger elimination and then showed the clips for next week, and one of the people were in the clips.
Wasn't it last season?
Yeah, I don't remember. It was either that or...
It was recently.
The last 3 seasons all ran together, so it's kind of hard to...
Well, it was all one big season together, basically.
They call that a trilogy.
Yeah.
Well, they tried to call it a trilogy.
So, yeah, that's my big thing is I hope that they don't do that from here on out. But let's get into superlatives for last night. Who smashed some heads?
I have Wes smashed Georgia's head when he told her that Bear said he would rather hook up with Nani.
His words, Bear said he was more sexually attracted to Nani than you.
Yeah, and then it made her cry because, like, I'm pretty sure Georgia and Bear are, like, in a house relationship.
Yeah, they definitely are.
Yeah, but again, Bear's lying on everybody, saying he, isn't whatever.
Again, that's his words. Lying is the best policy. Direct quote.
I literally had that written down in quotes. Lying is best policy.
Yeah, it's that doesn't surprise me.
Which it's not the best policy. It gets you in trouble.
What about you?
Bear, he smashed my head.
Did he?
Because I realized the gift he brings to this show, and it's watchability, it's vulnerability for me. I'm vulnerable now to the effects of Bear and his finger guns.
Okay.
So, Bear, well, I guess you could say I got my head smashed. Wait, hold on a second.
You said he smashed your head.
Smashed head?
He's smashing heads.
Okay.
Bear.
I'm gonna just go with I'm gonna change mine. I had something else written down.
I'll say what's on your heart.
No, I don't want to do that one.
This is the one that's on his heart.
It's gotta be either the producers or the editing staff because
they smashed Leroy's head.
They smashed Shailene's whole existence.
Oh yeah,
including her birthday. And
I don't know which is worse. People forgetting your birthday or people just writing it off.
Acknowledging it and saying that's not worth airtime.
Yeah.
Let's get it out of here.
Well, that leads right into mine because that's who got their head smashed for me.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Shailene.
Yeah, that's an easy one.
You can't have your birthday written off and not have your head smashed.
Yeah. Well, I wrote mine last night before we found out it was Shailene's birthday because I found that out literally now. I put Leroy by Cam and Theo's public romance.
Yeah, it was a hard one for him.
I mean, his eyes were literally bugging out of his head.
Yeah. I again, and he says it wasn't a fair edit on what he was shown as. We'll see how that is.
But I mean, we do have scenes of him coming to her, telling her he loved her, still wanted to be with her, whatever.
Times.
And so we do know that they gave him a bad edit, but it's still true that she's like the love of his life or whatever.
He definitely at least still had feelings towards her.
He definitely was jealous that she was with Theo.
Again, it's a tough situation, but I can't blame Cam in this one.
No, she's single, and she said that he just wasn't ready for a relationship with her.
Maybe Jingle will be a good app for her.
But no,
but not if it's designed for me.
It's only to date you, Jake.
Yeah.
Then it could work for her.
Yeah.
She didn't act interested when we interviewed her.
Well, we don't know.
She could have been with Leroy then. We don't know. I put Ninja got her head smashed.
Because she didn't do well.
Right off the gate, she was just 0. Like, again, Amanda, you could see 0, whatever. Josh,
Yeah.
I still don't know what to make of him yet. He seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, but these
apparently.
are not 5-time American Ninja Warrior champions.
Yeah. Well, I mean, would you say that she got her head smashed by the monster truck or by the sand in her face that kept her from seeing or by the tire she was trying to hold on to and unhook?
She got it smashed by hubris. She should have done a lot better. She was talking about how great she should be at this. Paul was talking about how great she should be. And, she whiffed it. She's gone right away. She was the one that's supposed to be setting the pace. She's the first person.
Would you say she was gone with the wind?
No, I would not say that. But yeah, let's get into our
Wes's favorite part of the show.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that one guy who said he's not going to give us
his
5
favorite.
stars until we cut it.
It's at the very end. If you don't want to hear it, just end the podcast.
Yeah, if
this is
we're
not
done
going to
with
last
we're done
5
with challenge
minutes.
talk. Cut it off. Go away. It's fine. Yeah,
It'd be nice if you stuck around though.
Yeah, the album of we have some people that said their Spotify has grown like crazy because of
That's
this.
what we're
I
here
do
for.
think that we have some pretty good, diverse recommendations.
I think so.
Yeah, mine and Jake are gonna be totally different this week. So let's do album of the week.
Spit it out.
You go first.
Okay, album of the week. Back to Black by Amy Winehouse. Rest in peace.
Is that the one that had Rehab on it?
Yeah.
It's the only one I know.
Oh, no, she's got a lot of good songs on that album. It's good. I loved her voice.
She was talented. It wasn't my style.
She just had a
That's
drug problem, but she had an incredible
clearly.
voice.
Yeah. What's yours?
So I've been a video gamer for most of my life, and the Madden 2003 soundtrack is one to remember.
Gross.
You were in high school in 2003.
I was in the 7th grade.
That's not high school.
It's
That's-
junior high. Where
that's
you were,
junior high.
he
I
was,
know,
he
but
was in the
that's
same
because
building
the
as the high school.
That's because the school was a poor county.
Well,
Let's
that
put everything together.
you know, we've got I played you a song called "Suck It Up"
You did. You
right
sure
before
did.
we got started. We got some Bon Jovi on there. Some I think. Oh man,
Every teenager's fantasy.
Yeah.
Bon Jovi.
That album is very diverse, though.
hold on a second.
There's
We
a
can't
there's
play
a
it.
little
We
bit
don't
of
have rights
everything.
to it.
I'm not gonna play it. We got Andrew WK, one of your
I do love
favorites.
Andrew WK.
Audio Vent, Dry Cell, Epidemic, Good Charlotte, Nappy Roots, OK Go,
Well, that's a weird one.
Quarashi, and Seether. We're just going
Quarashi?
to finish it off with Seether.
Oh,
I thought it was Seether.
I've always said Seether.
Seether.
I thought it was Seether, like you seethe at.
I don't
At
care.
the
Who
teeth.
cares? They're not good anyway.
Great video game album, by the way.
Not a great video game.
One of the
I
better
mean,
it was
Maddens.
fine.
I mean, if you tried to sit down and play it now,
Well, no.
you'd throw your controller at the TV.
Hardly any games from 2003 is going to hold up. But,
Exactly. It was real glitchy.
Album of the week for me, completely different. I need to pull it up because I didn't. It was too long for me even to write down the title.
Why do you do this? Why do you not
So,
write your stuff down?
It's too long.
The rest of us do. We
So-
all write our stuff down.
It's Bright Eyes,
Oh, I love Bright Eyes.
but the album was Lifted, and it has some crazy Lifted or the story in the soil. Keep your ear to the ground. As I always called it Lifted, so that's why I didn't know the full title. But that was one of those bands it wasn't really a band, this guy. I really got into a lot in high school.
I was only into him pre-puberty.
His puberty.
I wasn't into his puberty.
Jake,
That's not what I said.
Do-
But no one's going to know what that
but
Oh my
means.
but
God.
the FBI, the CIA,
So-
TBI, they're all going to show up at your house
So
tonight.
here's the thing. Connor Oberst, which is from Bright Eyes, he actually was in a band when he was like 12 or 13 called Commander Venus.
That's what I was into.
And,
Commander Venus.
They were signed. They were on the record label. I think one of the guys from the band Cursive was in it. Like they went on to be in some big bands, but it is Connor. It is pre-puberty or during
That's
puberty,
right.
and his voice is very squawky and it like goes in and out of key. It's kind of fun to listen to.
It is fun to listen to.
I don't think any of that's on Spotify or anything, but it's Commander Venus if you want to try to look for it.
All right, Han, well, give us your movie recommendation for the week.
All right. This week we are in the year 2009. It's a great
Solid
year.
year,
It was
yeah.
such a good year.
Commander Venus is on Spotify. by
Hey,
the way.
excuse me.
God.
I am trying to talk about movies. Thank you.
There we go.
Okay, 2009 was such a good year. It was a good year for music. It was a good year for movies. It was a great year for movies. I had like 5 picks from this one.
I did too.
But ultimately, I had to go with Fantastic Mr. Fox. I've seen that movie 15 to 20 times. It's so good.
I'm a big Wes Anderson fan, and I have not seen that movie.
George Clooney's the lead.
Yeah, no, I don't know why I didn't.
It's a phenomenal movie. I loved it a lot. My parents loved it so much that they bought it on DVD twice, and they've only done that one other time with a movie, and it was Elf. But also another fantastic movie.
Yeah, I wanted to see it when it came out, and it's just one that I never got around to. Because again, I like Wes Anderson movies.
It's so good.
I had a few different picks I could have went with, but I asked myself which one of these movies am I most prone to sit down and watch if I'm flipping through the channels and it's on. And you guys will be surprised by this one, but I'd say
I Love You, Man.
It's almost like a guilty pleasure for me. Confessions of a Shopaholic.
Really?
No joke.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
I
It's a chick
legitimately
flick.
No, I know what it
enjoy
is.
that movie.
Why?
Every time it's on, I'm like,
Is
yeah,
it
man.
Isla Fisher?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's gorgeous, by the way.
Yeah.
You bet
She's
Sacha Baron
married
Cohen's
to.
going to come after you.
Yeah,
He doesn't listen to the pod.
he might.
But yeah, I strongly encourage curling up with your significant other and watching Confessions of a Shopaholic.
I'm not really into chick flicks. It's just not my thing. But I do kind of like that movie.
I think I am because I've been single for so long.
Have you watched it recently?
In the past
With
couple of
Seth?
months, I have.
Really?
Yeah, no talky Seth.
No, I had a lot. There was a lot of movies I could have picked from. Up was on the list.
That's a good one.
Fast and Furious.
Which one?
Number 4.
4.
Oh,
which
that's
was
the one
kinda-
you start on.
That's the one that if you want to get into them, you can skip 4. Start with 5 if you just want good movies. 5 on's great, but 4's pretty good.
That's after Tokyo Drift, right?
Yes, yeah. But I did go with I Love You, Man.
Yeah.
Because
Knew it.
I love Paul Rudd. I love Jason Segel. That movie.
Well, and your high school crush.
What now?
What's her face? What's her name?
Oh, Rashida Jones.
Yeah, you were all about her.
I did like Rashida Jones.
You used to have up on your MySpace her doing the Call of Duty thing.
Did I?
Yes.
That's funny.
It's funny that you remember that and
I
he
do.
doesn't.
Yeah,
and
funny,
you're
though.
about me. You just had that. It was,
I did have that. You're
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that because they weirdly played Call of Duty on The Office.
Yep.
Yeah. I did have a crush on Rashida Jones. And I want to say about 2009, the worst X-Men movie ever made was X-Men X-Men Origins Wolverine.
That's right.
Horrible movie. Great characters. They did some awful things with Deadpool, but
But Ryan Reynolds had the part.
yeah, but it's not a good part. That's why.
Why he took over.
That's why he wanted to make Deadpool movies because of how much they screwed it up back then. But that's all I had to say. Because the other X-Men movies I like, that one sucks. So, anything else?
Nope.
Anything to go out on? Any more clips from your brothers?
Just get ready for the pain train.
Pain Train's coming.
It's coming.
So yeah, I did all the plugs earlier. If you made it this far, you know where we're at. You can find us later. But other than that, we will be back next week.
I think I hear it now. The pain train's coming down the station. It's pulling up.
Down the station.
Down the station.
Zach's going down. Have a good night, everyone.
It's not nighttime.